Itadori Yuji.
Itadori Yuji! Kokusen! 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 Kokusen!
Itadori Yuji seemed like your run-of-the-mill cliché shonen protagonist when JJK first came out. Sort of like a more cheery and excitable Ichigo. But, as the plot has unfolded, time and time again, mysteries start to form around this unassuming guy. Why is his body so strong? Who are his parents? How did Yuji, the one person who can contain Sukuna in 1,000 years, somehow stumble across one of his fingers? How can he resist Sukuna? How is he able to achieve such first-class sorcerer feats like Black Flash and Reverse Curse Technique with such little experience? Why do multiple people have memories of him that never existed? Just who or what is Itadori Yuji? If you like Jujutsu Kaisen content, consider dropping a like and subscribing. I'll be making an analysis video for each major character eventually. You won't want to miss it. Next video is on Maki. Alright, back to the video. It has not been explicitly stated, but given all the evidence, here's my theory on what Itadori Yuji really is. He is primarily an experiment of the mysterious Kenjaku. It was most likely Kenjaku who placed one of Sukuna's fingers near Yuji when he felt the time was right. Now, why would he part with such a valuable piece of his merger plan? Because Yuji is the culmination of Kenjaku's cursed womb experiments to create the next stage of evolution for humans. The same thing he desires the merger for. It is likely that he conducted various cursed experiments on Yuji in the womb with blood manipulation while inhabiting Yuji's departed mother. Not only that, but it is quite possible Kenjaku involved Sukuna's last missing finger in these experiments. Hence Sukuna's expression of revulsion at Yuji. Why do all this while in the womb? Well, there is a special ritual technique that involves a type of bath, which Sukuna himself underwent. Originally, the bath was used on items treasured as family heirlooms to transform them into cursed tools, as a method of keeping away any external threats. It requires 10 months and 10 days of soaking in a solution of cursed energy created from crushing and straining poisonous creatures together. Kurama constructed a bath by applying this method to cursed spirits. It may be that Kenjaku was employing a similar method to Yuji, bathing him in cursed energy and blood since conception. Perhaps even Sukuna's cursed energy through the missing finger in order to create a new life form. Something not quite a curse, but not quite human. The perfected form of the previous cursed wombs, like Chozo. This may explain Yuji's unnatural strength and durability despite having no heavenly restriction. His unusual cursed energy. His resistance to poison. How he is able to use Black Flash nearly at will, more than any other character. Yuji's new seeming power to do something akin to a soul swap is remarkably similar to Kenjaku's own ability to swap bodies. as well as how Yuji is able to use piercing blood, a kamo technique, after most likely taking in the remaining cursed wombs. It also may explain how Yuji looks strikingly like Sukuna. His 1 in 1,000 years ability to be a cage for Sukuna's soul, something that was so overwhelming Mahito couldn't even handle it. Because he was probably made, in part, out of Sukuna's soul. This possible genetic connection and Yuji's unbreakable ideals may be why Sukuna particularly despises him, why he dismisses and demoralizes him every chance he can, because deep down, he's bothered. Yuji is a part of him. Their souls had shared the same flesh, and yet, he knows, truly, that Yuji is the complete opposite of him in terms of ideology. His 1,000-year-long worldview is being put into question by Yuji's continued attack while being weaker. Another theory is that Yuji is somehow a modified reincarnation of someone that opposed Sukuna 1,000 years ago, based on some of the lines he said recently, but I digress. Despite the most twisted and cursed of origins, Yuji is the opposite of Sukuna. He cares the most while suffering the most. He represents the best of humanity while surrounded by the worst of it. It is shown time and time again that Yuji cherishes human life and connection. Even while Junpei was trying to kill him, Yuji tried to save him. He empathized with his plight and felt genuine, intense rage and grief when he died. Yuji has always been reluctant to kill things like transfigured humans or cursed womb humans. He cares that every action he takes is moral and with reason. He believes in right and wrong, the exact opposite of Sukuna, who moves based purely on whim. Every life has meaning to him, and if possible, he'd like to allow them to have the death they deserve. And even though he has this heart of gold, that same heart is tested over and over and over and over and over again. Junpei's death, losing to Choso, having to watch his own body kill thousands. Then his teacher Nanami, who he had admired so much, is killed in front of his face by the same curse that took Junpei. Then that same curse once again kills one of his best friends again in front of his face. Then, because of his small oversight in making a pact, Sukuna takes over his other best friend's body and leaves him a bloody mess. Finally, he has to watch through a screen as his teacher Gojo is killed, without him being able to do a thing to stop it. All these trials, traumas that would break anyone into an irreparable mess. He shoulders them all. He marches forward in the face of overwhelming adversity, against impossible odds. He is the hope of man, which refuses to be snuffed out by even the darkest of nights. Yuji's soul, or ideals, are unbreakable. It is the first acknowledgement Sukuna ever gave him, so you know those words hold weight. So what is Yuji's role in the story of Jujutsu Kaisen? Well, He's our primary vessel for learning about the JJK world, as most protagonists are. But more importantly, he's the bridge between the competing ideals of JJK. Gojo in love versus Sukuna in hedonism. Purpose versus arbitration. Humans versus curses. Life versus death. Good versus evil. It's no surprise why every opponent Yuji faces has some connection to these higher themes. Mahito represented hedonism, arbitration, evil, and curses. Chozo represented love. Higuruma represented purpose, goodness, life, and death, order, law. And Sukuna, well, he represents everything opposite to Yuji. The last theme I'll touch on, though there are a ton more that could be said about Yuji, is how Yuji represents what it means to be a Jujutsu sorcerer. To be a Jujutsu sorcerer is to exercise curses. It is to save who you can and punish who you must. Walking up to the line, near the gray, but not crossing over. It is to suffer for the other's sake, and to gain strength from that suffering. It means to have unbreakable ideals for which you strive for in the face of impossible odds. And I think that's something we can all aspire for in our own lives. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you liked the video, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It would mean the world to me and give me the encouragement to make more videos.